So hello guys, my name is Ruturaj and welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is very important as an exam purpose. Okay, today we are learning one concept plus the such topics which are very important as exam purposes. Like exams like CSIR, NET, JRF, then GATE, then for JAM students also, and various state examinations like SAT examination, okay, state eligibility test. So you have heard this term many times, okay, plenty of times. I'm sure that you got this question in your examination and you had some problems, okay, some of you, not everyone, okay. Now today we will understand the concept, right, so that you can answer any type of question on this concept, right. So Ramsey's classification of fold, and before watching this video, I would recommend you that please don't watch this directly, because I'm using some terminologies which are some of you people may not be familiar with, okay. So I would recommend you to watch my previous video on folds, right. So I have explained various concepts related to fold, that what is plunge, what is axis, what is axial plane. All this I have explained in this topic, in that video, right. So please watch that video first and then come to this lecture. Now we are not going directly to the classification, okay. First we will study some concepts related to this classification. We know the Ramsey sir gave this classification. There are plenty of classifications of fold, but this classification is very widely accepted, okay. So that is why various examinations also using this concept for making the questions in the examination, okay. Now we will understand first this diagram. This diagram is very important. If you understand this diagram, you will not have to take lot of stress to learn classification, actual classification, this one, okay. Now this is not complete diagram. First we will study this part of the lecture, right. Okay, so what we know about fold is very important. First of all, now this diagram you can see, right, this is the fold, blue colored, okay. Now fold means many people cannot understand how this is fold, means they cannot imagine in 3D, right. So I'm telling you, this is the cross section of fold, okay. I'll explain, okay. So this is the 3D, right. If this is 3D section of, you can see it now, you can see 3 dimensions of this particular object, right. So this is 3D, this is 3D fold, okay. Now we can see hinge plane, hinge zone, axis we can see, right. But here I'm showing you only the thing which is in the front of that fold, right. We are taking cross section, this portion we are taking for understanding, okay. We are going to study only this portion, okay. So whenever I say plunge or axis of fold or hinge zone, okay, you have to imagine 3D, right. So where will be the axis of this fold? The axis of this fold will go inside the board, okay. So this is 3D imagination. If you are studying structural geology, then 3D imaginations are very much important, okay. So as I told, this is cross section of fold. This is not field photograph, this is just diagram to show you or to teach you, okay. Now deep isogons, Ramsey sir gave classification depending on deep isogon. Now you must have heard this term many times, right, deep isogon. Now first task of this lecture is to understand what is deep isogon, okay. Now we know every linear feature or every planar feature has dip that we can calculate in the field using clinometer or Brunton compass, or many people uses many instruments, okay. So if the planar feature is like this, okay, in this we can see there is a constant dip, okay. This line, now we can see this is as line, right, on board. So this line has constant slope, the slope is not changing, right. This is not like this, okay. So wherever you calculate the dip amount will be same, it will not change, because it is planar feature, no, it is not curved surface, right. But here we are having curved surfaces. until and unless we are not having chevron fold. Chevron fold, we know the limbs are like straight, okay, and hinges are conical. This is chevron fold. We are not considering chevron fold over here. Now the important thing is we can see here this surface, right? Now how to calculate dip of this surface? We cannot calculate single dip of curved surface, right? If you calculate the dip over here, the dip amount will be lower because this is somewhat forming lower angle with the horizontal, right? But if you calculate the dip here, the angle of dip will be more. So this is more steeper than this, right? This is more steeper than the first case, right? So this is very important. Now we are having curved surfaces, so we know one more term, this is the outer arc of this fold, okay? I'm marking here. This is outer arc of fold and this one is inner arc of the fold, okay? So whenever I'm going to use these two terms, just you should collect the term, okay? Now this is outer arc, this is inner arc. Now we have to consider the curvature of these two arcs, okay? We have to consider the curvature. Listen carefully. The curvature means any if we have any planar feature and we bend it, we can see the curvature, right? The curvature will be more at the tip of that feature. Like if this is the paper, if we curve this paper like this, then the curvature, where will be the curvature more? I have also explained this concept in that fold video also, okay, previous video. So here will be the maximum curvature, right? So remember this, we have to consider this portion, and for the curvature, wherever I am using curvature word, we have to consider this portion, right? Now deep isogon, we are going to I'm going to explain deep isogon later. Now first of all, you should know what is curvature. So curvature will be maximum over here, okay, over here of this arc, right? Two curvatures we will get here and here. It is not necessary, na? It's not necessary to have same curvature for both the arcs, okay? It might be deformed due to some tectonism, due to some disturbances in the crust, okay? It is not compulsory to have same curvature at the axis or axial plane, okay? Wherever the this is axis of fold, okay? Sorry, not axis of fold, this is axial plane trace. Axial plane, here we can see line, but it is plane, right? Just imagine in 3D, this is plane, okay? Here I cannot show you plane, that's why I have drawn one line. Dotted line is axial trace, okay, or axial plane we can say. So wherever the axial plane is cutting both the arcs, okay, this is inner arc, this is outer arc, this is the curvature and this is the curvature of this point, okay? So now we are going to consider curvature plus this term, you remember, okay? Now second thing is a deep isogon. Now I have explained you the dip of linear feature and planar feature, okay? Now here we will consider linear feature because we have line, okay? We don't have plane, we need 3D surface for that, right? So just you can imagine in 3D, it's the same concept, right? Now we don't have we don't have planar feature here. This is planar feature, no? Whatever I explained in the chevron fold is a planar surface. So but here for this fold we don't have planar surface. That is why we are getting different amount of dips everywhere, okay? If we calculate dip here, it will be different than this portion, this place, right? On this curvature, if we calculate dip amount here and dip amount here, both will be different, right? So suppose we are getting, now what is deep isogon, okay? Listen carefully and watch this carefully, okay? Now the deep amount, okay, if we are starting from here, suppose we are getting 45-degree deep amount on this surface, okay? Deep is like this, no? This, suppose this is suppose this is our horizontal, then this will be our deep, right? So this we are getting 45 degree. Just imagine. Now what we have to do, there is one task for us. We need to find wherever on the outer arc we are getting 45 degrees, same amount. Okay, if we start from here, this dip will be negative because this is dipping that side. No, we are considering this section of the fold. This is dipping opposite side. So if we calculate dip here, this will be negative dip. Okay, as we are considering this part of the fold, right? If we start from here, we are getting 0 here, right? Wait, I'll change the pen. Okay, so what I told you, we have to find the same dip. Okay, here we are getting 45, right? Now one small task is on outer arc also. This is outer arc. Okay, outer arc I will write here so that you won't confuse again. Okay, so on outer arc we have to start collecting dip data. Okay, dip amount data. So wherever we are getting from here to here, we can calculate. Somewhere we can get 45 degree. Okay, so if we are getting 45 on this place, okay, now 45 degree amount on inner arc we are getting at this place, and on the outer arc at this place. We need to join these 2 points. And one more thing, we have to draw a tangent to both the arcs. Okay, tangent is, what is tangent? Tangent of the circle or arc we can draw. No, tangent is like this. Sorry, tangent is like this. Only one point of the circle is touching to that line. Okay, this is tangent. So we have to draw both 2 tangents. Okay, one near outer work, one considering the point of 45 degree dip for outer arc, and another at the 45 degree dip amount in the inner arc, right? So we are getting 2 tangents, right? These 2 tangents will be parallel to each other. Okay, because these 2 amounts we are getting same, no, dip amount. It will so that the tangents of both the arcs, or both the limbs, we can say both the arcs, we will get parallel. Okay, now this line we draw, this is called dip isogon. Okay, so curvature is curvature, I told you. Now what is dip isogon, you understood, right? If you have any doubt till here, please put in the comment box. Okay, so that I can understand how I can make some better videos or better teaching, right? So dip isogon and curvature, 2 things are clear now. Now there are 2 more terms. Okay, axial trace thickness and orthogonal thickness. Now what is orthogonal thickness? We will finish this because this is easy. We have drawn 2 tangents considering inner arc and outer arc with same dip. Okay, here we are considering 45 degree dip. Okay, this is just consideration. Now we know both the tangents are parallel to each other. Okay, so the perpendicular distance between these 2 tangents is called orthogonal thickness. Okay, perpendicular distance you can calculate wherever you want. Okay, here also you can calculate. The condition is it should be perpendicular to this and this line, right? So the shortest distance between these 2 lines, these 2 parallel lines, will be our orthogonal thickness. Okay, now axial trace thickness. This is third point. Okay, first is dip isogon, second is orthogonal thickness, and third is axial trace thickness. Now we know this is our axial plane. Okay, this is line, but this is in 3D axial plane. Okay, now we have to consider these 2 lines. Okay, these 2 parallel tangents we are considering. Okay, all the work we are doing on these 2 lines only. Okay, so I have told you the procedure how I draw these lines, right? So we are working on these 2 parallel lines only. Now axial trace thickness. What is axial trace thickness? On these 2 lines only, between these 2 lines only, we have to draw a line which is exactly parallel to the axial plane. Okay, so this line you can see, this line is parallel to this one. Okay, this is axial trace, our axial plane. No, here what is the term? Axial trace thickness. No, so this is parallel to the axial trace or axial plane. I have marked the dotted line here for axial trace or axial plane, we can say. This line is parallel to the axial trace of this fold, that is why we call it axial trace thickness. Okay, so we have successfully completed one part of this lecture. Now if you have any doubts in this part, we have not yet started this part, the actual classification, but if you have any doubt in this part, please put comment in the comment section below. Okay, I will try to solve your doubts. Okay, now we will move to the next part of this lecture. Okay, the actual classification from where you are going to have questions in various examinations like NET, GATE. There are plenty of questions in GATE also. Okay, on this concept, because this is widely accepted, that is why. Okay, so Ramsey sir gave classification of fold in three. Okay, there are the three main classification. Okay, class 1, class 2, and this is class 3. Sorry, this is class 3. Okay, now we can see here I have written some terms. Okay, now class 1 is further subdivided into 3 folds. Okay, 3 type of folds. Now I'm going to tell one definition for class 1 fold. Okay, if any fold showing this criteria, I'm going to tell the definition now. That criteria, if applying for any fold, then we can say the fold is classified under, can be classified under class 1 fold. Okay, now I have explained curvature concept here, right? So what is this line, right? This line has 0 curvature. It is not bent, no, that is why it has 0 curvature. If we bend this line little bit, we can say this is lightly curved, right? And if we do this to line, then this is strongly curved, right? Strongly curved, or it has very high curvature. Okay, now see in this diagram, like don't look at these two diagrams. Okay, just consider class 1. Okay, these 3 diagrams you have to consider right now. Now we can see the curvature of inner arc in these 3 diagrams is more, right, like this. So whenever in the fold the outer arc is has less curvature than the inner arc. Okay, you can see the curvature, no, this is strongly curved, curvature is very high, right? This is A, class 1A. This is not just A. Okay, class 1A fold, class 1B, class 1C. Okay, now we know inner arc, I am using shortcut, inner arc is more curved than outer arc, right? Here we can see this is outer arc curvature. This angle is very wide, no, that is why the outer arc is less curved. It is like this. This is outer arc and this is inner arc. Okay, if we compare this example with this diagram. Okay, and for all these 3 classification or subdivision of class 1 has same condition. Inner arc has more curvature than the outer arc. Okay, I will write here. Inner arc has more curvature than outer arc. Inner arc has more curvature than outer arc. Okay, so this condition will be applied for only class 1 folds. Now only we are seeing curvatures. Okay, as this is very important, because I am telling you the concept with regards to the exams. Okay, all the questions till today for in various examination has come from this classification only, and just remember whatever I am telling. Okay, curvature is more important, deep isogon is more important. Then you have to focus on 2 types. Okay, from this you have to more focus on 2 diagrams. I'll tell in the end. Okay, now class 1 fold, I told you inner arc curvature has more inner arc has more curvature than the outer arc. Okay, and for all these. Now for class 2, inner arc has same curvature than that of outer arc. Okay, so both the curvatures, if we measure the angle between these two and angle between these 2 limbs, the angle will be same. Okay, if this is 15, then this is also 15. So this is called same curvature. Okay, now class 2 fold is also known as similar folds. This is very important as your exam purpose. Okay, class 2 fold is also known as similar fold. Why? Because it has same curvature. Okay, this condition you need to remember. They also ask this condition also. I think 2020 gate and even last JRF also has this question. Okay, one more thing, class B is known as parallel fold. Okay, I will tell you the reason later. Now you just see the deep isogons. Okay, now curvature. Inner arc has same curvature as that of outer arc. This is class 2 fold. Now for class 3 the condition is reversed. Okay, now for class 1 we have seen inner arc has more curvature than the outer arc. Here we can see directly the outer arc has more curvature than the inner arc. Okay, see this angle will be more, na? That is why outer arc has more curvature than the inner arc. So remember this. They may ask these questions also. Okay, which of the following fold has inner arc more curvature? Okay, like this they can ask. So you have to consider this. Then the another aspect of this fold is the deep isogon. Now we have seen the line joining between the line joining the 2 points which shows similar dip of outer arc and inner arc is called deep isogon. Now we just need to remember that for class 1 folds deep isogons are converging. Converging का मतलब क्या है? What is meant by converging? Converging is they are coming from far away towards each other. Okay, now I will draw deep isogons so that you can get some idea. Okay, now for class 1 the deep isogons are strongly converging. Okay, we can see the deep isogons are very strongly converging towards the hinge of the inner arc, right? This is strongly converging. Okay, strong conversion, it is showing converging phenomena and strongly converging. Now for all these 3 types the deep isogons will converge only, but the intensity will be decreased towards the class 1C. Okay, now for this the condition is like this somewhat. Okay, these are converging towards the midpoint, but the intensity over here to converge is very less, not very less but lesser than the class 1A. Okay, now in last condition they are converging but very weakly converging. Okay, so this is the condition for class C. Okay, you may get the questions asking the deep isogons also, which are the converging, which are diverging. Okay, now we have not yet gone to divergent. Now here strongly converging, this is converging, and this is weakly converging. Okay, I think you can see the board properly. Okay, so this is strongly converging, this is converging and weakly converging, but under class 1 the deep isogon will converge towards each other. Okay, now for class 2 the deep isogons are not converging and diverging also. Okay, see this is parallel. Okay, I am rubbing this. See the pattern of deep isogons. Okay, see this pattern, how the deep isogons are behaving. Okay, we can see this as parallel, right? So I will write here parallel. Okay, so this is parallel. I am going to show you the chart where you can get all the data compiled. Okay, in the end of this video I will show the chart. Okay, the proper chart. where you can see the deep isogons, then the curvature data, deep isogon data, then orthogonal thickness, how orthogonal thickness vary with each of these types, then how axial trace thickness can vary with each of these type. Okay, so all the data you will get in the one single chart. Okay, and I will provide the link also for that. Now the class 2 is done. Now last class 3. See, these deep isogons in class 2 fold are parallel, and that is why this is called similar fold, and plus curvature of both arcs are same. Okay, there is no difference in the curvatures also. So just remember these some things. The deep isogons are parallel in class 2, then these are called similar folds. That is why these are called similar fold, because outer arc and inner arc are showing same feature, that is same curvature. That is why it is similar fold. So please remember this. Now class 3. In class 3 we have already seen outer arc has more curvature than the inner arc, and we can see this in the diagram. Okay. Now what about deep isogons? The deep isogons will be diverging for this fold from this center. Okay, this is converging feature. Okay, you can see all these deep isogons are coming from outer arc to the inner arc and converging, showing converging nature. Now for this diagram, for this class 3 classification, we can see the deep isogons are coming from outer arc and diverging. Okay, this is diverging nature. These are not coming towards the single point. That is why we can call it diverging nature, right? So okay, these are some terms related to these 5 classification. And now most important thing, you need to focus, if you are preparing for NET JRF or GATE, you need to focus more on these 2 class. Okay, because most of the questions are asked on parallel and similar folds. Okay, which of the following is parallel fold, which of the following is similar fold? And every time, even I made mistake last year in JRF. Okay, the same question was there and I made mistake in that. So please note down this. These 2 classifications are very, very important for your exam purpose. Okay. Okay, so I have already told you the important 2 parts on which you need to focus more. Now we will see the next thing, orthogonal thickness. Now we can see orthogonal. I have already explained what is orthogonal thickness. Okay, orthogonal thickness is the perpendicular distance between these 2 lines, right? 2 tangents, right? This is orthogonal thickness, this is orthogonal thickness, right? So now we will see how orthogonal thickness vary with different classes. Now we will see next aspect, that is orthogonal thickness, how orthogonal thickness will vary with different classes. Okay, we will start from first thing, and now I am going to tell you why this is called parallel folds. Okay, now orthogonal thickness will be, okay, orthogonal thickness will be minimum at hinge. This is hinge zone. Okay, we know hinge zone. If you don't know about hinge zone, hinge surface, then please watch my previous video on fold. Okay, we know this is hinge zone, right? This is hinge zone, this is hinge zone, this is hinge zone. So we need to consider the thickness, orthogonal thickness. Orthogonal thickness is the perpendicular distance between 2 tangents, right? So if we consider orthogonal thickness in this fold, it will be maximum at, it will be minimum at hinge zone. Okay, or near the axial plane or axial line. This is, so it will be minimum. I will write here, orthogonal thickness be minimum at hinge. Okay, for class 1A fold. Okay, for class 1A fold, the orthogonal thickness will be minimum at hinge zone, and we can draw plenty of orthogonal thickness, right? Orthogonal thickness lines we can draw everywhere, right? So if we draw here orthogonal thickness, the value of this orthogonal thickness will be more than value of this orthogonal thickness, because we know it will depend on the curvature of both the arcs, Okay, so we can see the distance between these two arcs at the bottom of the fold is very large. Okay, that is why this difference is coming. Okay, you just remember the orthogonal thickness is minimum at hinge zone for class A. Okay, for class 1A orthogonal thickness is minimum at hinge. Okay, now you can remember sequence also. Okay, now for class 1B fold, okay, this is very important. Why this is called parallel? Because here orthogonal thickness, wherever you draw orthogonal thickness, here everywhere it is same. Okay, the orthogonal thickness will be same for class 1B fold. Okay, this classification class 1B it is. That is why it is called parallel fold. So that is why it is called parallel fold. And next, then here orthogonal thickness at hinge it's constant, means wherever every place you can calculate the orthogonal thickness, the amount will be same for everywhere, same everywhere. Okay, now from class 1C onwards, means class 1C, class 2 and class 3, all these three has orthogonal thickness maximum at hinge. Okay, so for class 3 we can see this distance is very large, right? This distance is very less. That is why orthogonal thickness will be more at the hinge surface, hinge zone. And for class 1C, class 2 and class 3, you need to remember these three terms for orthogonal thickness. Okay, so axial trace thickness also you can see. I will display one diagram at the end of this video. You can compare all these diagrams, all five classification, actually three classification, these are subtypes, right? So you can compare all these five diagrams with respect to axial trace thickness, deep isogon and orthogonal thickness. Okay, so I hope you understood all the concept I explained. So even till now you have any doubts, I have already told you to ask your all doubts in the comment section below. Okay, and okay, that's it for this classification, and I'm providing the link also, and I'm giving link for my previous fold lecture also. Okay, again I'm telling with the new students, for new students, please watch my previous video on fold and then come to this lecture. Okay, so okay, comment your doubts and please do subscribe. If you like the video, please do like and share it with your other friends also. Okay, thank you so much.